as we move into the space of meditation, as we move from thoughts and ideas and activity into that space of stillness, into that opportunity to just rest in sacred silence, in that space of knowing that whatever it is we see in the world, whatever it is that we feel inside, knowing that it all happens within God. One of the tenets of the unity belief system, that God is the allness, that we all move and live and have our being within that oneness. That there is truly no spot where God is not. That in any challenge, in any dis-ease, in any illness and in any wellness, God is there. That every inhalation of breath that we take comes from divine source. That it moves through our body, allowing us life-giving energy, inspiration, guidance, and so much love. That it's always there present. No matter what it looks like is happening on the outside, there is a deeper truth underneath. Layers of knowing and understanding and godness that we may not be able to see with our eyes, but that are there at work in the outworking. We trust. We truly believe at our core that we are one within the oneness. That we know that we are held and guided in any second. All we need to do is remember our connection within. And if it doesn't come to us at the top of our awareness, then it's time to stop. To find a moment for stillness, for recentering. Moments such as these. Moments such as just a second for a breath. A moment for a miracle, because they happen every day all around us. We trust in that life-giving source energy. We remember in every breath that God is there. In every moment, in every thought, in every decision, that all we need to do if we're ever unsure is just reach for the godness within it. Step into the gratitude and live. Grateful even in those moments where we're not sure where the path will lead. Knowing and trusting that it continues our growth, that it is filled with godness, and that God is there in the solution, God is there in the future, and God is there in the unknown. So grateful for that divine outworking of our world. We trust, and we take a moment, just a moment, to move into silent contemplation of that knowing that God is there. Then we take another deep breath and we release once again, knowing the way will be made clear, our steps will be divinely guided, our hearts will be held as we move forward in the love and light and presence of God. For that knowing, we say thank you. Thank you, God, and so it is. Amen. You know, I've told this story in here before, but it sounds appropriate to tell again. So I stopped singing in public for a long time, for like 3 years. Because part of what I did at the last Unity that I stepped up for was music direction and worked with the music team, and sometimes I was a soloist. And one of the ministers that I worked with there, I've actually come a long way in this. I used to cry a lot more when I sang. You guys, last Sunday I couldn't finish the song, but because I see all of you and I know what each one of us has walked through and continues to walk through in this life, and you keep showing up so beautifully, and it's sacred, you guys. I hope you realize that this resilience, that this love of life, that this love for life is sacred, and it's an honor, and it's a responsibility, and it's ours to keep going, and the singing taught me I sometimes would even lose my place in songs because I would just dive into the words and watch the faces and feel the reception of what was flowing forth, like what just did so beautifully here. And I would cry. And I remember one Sunday, there's a song, if you've never heard it, I suggest you do. There's a song, an artist called Peter Mayer, and he has a song called Holy Now. And it is the most heartfelt. It's about being a child in church and just kind of showing up and watching the motions, and then being an adult and realizing that everything is holy. It's not the bread, it's not the words, it's not everything. This life that we have is so sacred and such a gift to be a part of, and that everything is holy. And I sang this one Sunday, and I knew that one of our couples was going through a real particular troubled time, and I happened to catch eyes. That's why you might notice a lot of times I look up there, because I still, if I catch eyes and I know something is happening within someone, I get so invested in them hearing the message, like the message that was just given, that knowing that I am yours and you are mine, God, and that I am creating my life. And this Holy Now song I was singing, and I started crying when I was singing it, and I regathered myself and finished the song and everything. But at the end of that service, actually one of the gentlemen who could not cry, and this is why I say this is, I hope if nothing else happens in this sacred space, that we provide a space and a time, even if you're at home, where it becomes a sacred space wherever you are, that if this moves you to tears, let it. Let it. Because it's a sacred, that's holy water, guys. That's holy water. Nothing could be more blessed than something that moves us so much at our core that it brings tears. And after service, this gentleman who could never cry came up to me, and he started to talk, and he was unable to, and he burst into tears, and we just stood in the lobby of our church and held each other for 3-4 minutes, I don't know, and then he pointed at me like I had, like I just made him do something, you know, and he went like this, and he said, and he left. And he told me sometime later, he said, there's a few people in this world that give me permission to cry, and you are one of them. He said, but I do it all the time when you're there. And we're there to be that thread for people sometimes. But after that service, I went up to the minister who I hadn't worked with for very long, and I wasn't really sure of their standing. And I said, look, I'm sorry. I cried during the song. I'm sorry. I just got caught up in the feel, and it caused tears. And she said, well, we'll work on that. She said, that's not very professional to do in a service. And if that's something you're going to be doing, I just won't have you sing. And for some reason, even after that beautiful encounter, it did something to me. I let it do something to me. I let it shut off a part of me because I knew that I could not count on myself to get up there and not cry when I was singing. And so I stopped. I stopped singing for about 3 years in services. And finally, another minister that I was working with was leaving and asked if I would sing him out. And I couldn't say no to that. So, however, that reopened the doors of permission. See, our beingness gives other people unspoken, unconscious permission to change in their beingness. The reason we started late this morning, or part of the reason, was because I just felt like I needed another piece to go with what I was talking about this morning. And before service, we had Nellie come up here and do some rehearsal, and Tracy, and Nellie said, hey, can I, I'm just going to take a few minutes to warm up some more and everything, and she went into my office. And so Nellie's sitting off to the side, singing softly, and I'm on the floor with all my little toys that I have. I have a bunch of things I like to hand out, tangible things, and I was looking at a few of them and wondering what might be called forward for this morning's sharing. And so I'm sitting there on my knees in my office, moving stuff around, and I could hear people out here talking, and this wave of gratitude came over me. That this gets to be my life. I get to be here with all of you amazing people and contemplate what might touch your heart on a given Sunday morning and listen to beautiful music and hear the hum of fellowship and love and conversation. We have created something here that is so sacred that it changes the very world that we live in. I hope you know that. That what we do creates waves that shift paradigms for people and give them permission to heal and grow and love and start again. This is critical work for our world. It's critical work for each one of us, and it's critical work for our world. And Nellie said, I'm going to snuffle through this whole thing. And just as I was thinking that, and I had already figured out what I might bring out, and Nellie said, Trish, I don't know why, but I feel moved to share this with you. I'm not sure why. And I said, oh, good. So I went and sat down. And so this is a perfect example of how our being creates waves for other people's being and makes room for blessings. I don't know if you know Nellie and Tony or not, and their kids, but anytime I get to be around them and their family, these are people that you feel the fabric of life just oozing out of their skin, and joy and love and authenticity and all of this amazing gifts. You can look at Nellie and Tony and their kids, or and just know that there is God in the world, right? And there are some people that do that. There are some people that just by walking through the room, you're like, I feel a little lighter, or I have a little possibility. And so they were in Olive Garden last night with their daughter's birthday celebration, who just wanted a family and couple close friends celebration. And they were in Olive Garden, and I could picture this. I could picture it when she was telling me. And they were in that little family type room at Olive Garden where you're almost a little bit cozied in. And they were just being them. And they were chatting and talking and laughing and loving and eating and being. And when the meal ended, Nellie was told that someone in this room, and she said that she could feel it felt like a loving atmosphere there in the restaurant, there in Olive Garden. just looking around at the other tables and seeing people in fellowship and eating, and it just felt like a great environment. Well, there's a reason for that. It's because the lens that Nellie sees life through, right? And that we can feel that and that we can give that. And so Nellie found out at the end of the meal that someone had anonymously paid for their meal. And I've experienced this on different things, and you like, especially when it's anonymous, you look around at everybody and you're like, thank you, and thank you, and thank you. And it's like, and, like we want to know who to run to and thank. And Nellie didn't know, so Nellie just went through the whole area of the restaurant going, thank you, have a great night, Happy New Year, thank you. And ended up maybe narrowing it down to who did it, but you just never know. And it's that unmitigated gratitude showing up for life as a declaration of what life can be. Giving other people permission, and as I shared with Nellie too, because I've seen this before, there are some times that I will watch families, and I know when my husband died, I went through a period of watching couples. And sometimes I would go into restaurants or I would go into public places and I would watch couples sitting across from one another, buried in their phones, never looking up at each other, and eating an entire meal without acknowledging the other one's presence. And I got to this place where I just wanted to go up and scream in their faces, don't you know what a gift it is to have this person? Don't you know what a gift it is to be able to wake up next to somebody and be pissed off because they left the toilet seat up? Right? It's such a gift to interact with people in this life. Isolation teaches us sometimes how blessed it is just simply to walk through a grocery store line and talk to somebody else. And I remember that, and I would see families like Nellie and Tony's family, and I would just sit there and grin. It would remind me that though I was in this dark space at that moment, or though I might have been feeling alone in that moment, this exists. Because especially when we're in dark times of illness or change or worry, we can forget how good the good is. We can forget what it feels like to get up unfettered and walk and be in gratitude. And so those types of examples are out there for us everywhere. I called today steering wheels and spare tires because there's this prayer thing that surfaces every once in a while on the internet, this meme that goes around, and it says, is prayer your steering wheel or your spare tire? Is faith your steering wheel or your spare tire? Are you going through life just bulling through it all, and then if something sidelines you, suddenly you remember there's something named God that you could reach out to for guidance or solace or strength? If that's the way life is lived, you're going to spend a lot of time in a ditch on the side of the road. Because the godness within us is always calling us forward and calling us higher and expecting us to live on purpose, not just by accident. And so when we have that centering presence that we can tap into when we need it, everything changes about the way every day shows up. Nellie is wanting to thank somebody because, oh my gosh, there was a lot of people and I can't imagine they paid that, and they don't even know me, and all those things that go through. Am I worthy? Is what's at the bottom of all of that. That's too much. I can't accept it. If we can't accept it, we fist in the flow of divine. The idea is, I guarantee you, whoever gave that last night did it and sat there going, oh my gosh, I can't wait till they learn that they got their dinner paid for, and I feel so good about this. This is so exciting, and they just made me so happy. And that whole experience for that person then becomes about the blessing that they are able to bestow. And if what it meets on the other side of that blessing is, oh, I can't. No, I can't. You can feel it in the no, I can't. It stops the flow. Blessings are intended to grow and move forward. You know, what are we living as if? I've been thinking a lot about this lately. What are we living as if? Are we living as if life is a struggle, but we can do it? Are we living as if there are blessings around every corner and I can't wait to see what they are? Are we living as if we're not worthy? Oh, well, no, they're not going to want to hear what I have to say, or, less than. What are we living life as if? Are we living it as if we have enough resources to find the resources we need? Are we living it as if we are deserving of happiness and love? Are we living life as if everything is something to be grateful for? As if in the middle of prepping for a Sunday service and not realizing what time it was, sorry everyone that I held us up, are we living as if, oh my gosh, this moment is to be cherished? Life is a gift, and it's a rare gift, and it's wonderful. I laugh. I had occasion to be at the courthouse here in Highlands County with my boyfriend. No, it's not what you think. And I've gone there a few times, and Tony is an officer in uniform in the courthouse, and I can't help it. I see Tony and I want to hug him. And so I walk in and I'm like, Tony! And all the other officers are like, what the? Decorum, as you would say, Virginia. Decorum. And if life is a declaration of joy in the fact that we get to interact and see people on a Tuesday morning or whatever as a surprise, if that's what our life is, you can feel it, I'm sure, in what I'm doing and saying and moving in. It feels good. It feels like love and joy and blessings. And even when something doesn't feel as good, living in a declaration of gratitude for life allows us to receive things to be grateful for. Let faith, let prayer, let love be what's steering you, not what you grab onto when you're stuck in a ditch somewhere. Let worthiness and blessing be what is steering your life, not living as an apology. We get to decide what we are living as if every moment. And if we live every moment as if life is supporting and growing and loving us, it will change absolutely everything. And now, before I close, because I don't want to waste my time on the floor in the office listening to Nellie, so I've used this illustration before, but I'm going to use it again because I wanted everybody to have a tangible thing to take from today if you choose. I've got a bowl full of shells here. If you feel moved to take one after service, you are welcome to take 2, take 3, take 5, however many you would like to take. Yeah, yeah. I must keep this for illustrative purposes, okay? You can't see those as well as you can see this. So I've said it before, and I will probably say it again and again and again, but it really hit me this week, looking at my life today and looking at where my life has been. When a snail is born, when a beautiful queen conch such as this is born in the ocean, it's microscopic. It doesn't even have a shell yet. When it starts to grow its shell, it grows in swirls. You can look at the end of it and see the swirls going and going and going. And every swirl grows the snail. And the snail is a part of the shell. Doesn't wear it like a hermit crab that it can get in and out of. When snails are living in their shells, they are creating them as part of their lives. So as they grow, they get this visible, tangible example of growth, but also that everything we've ever been through is still in here. Making peace with those times when it was a little dark helps us to grow around it. I've heard that some people make this statement like grief is something you get over. You don't get over it. You get larger around it. You learn new ways of being and new gifts in life when you're grieving, that you just keep growing around and around and around, and you get larger and more capable. And if you allow it and if you embrace it, you get more loving and more grateful and more confident that you can do this life and more aware of the blessing that every day is, if you let it and if you let you. So we grow in these swirls, and sometimes you can actually look at shells and see where they have had stalled periods of growth because something happened in the water, or the temperature was off, or there wasn't as much food. That happens within us too. So if you're in a part right now of stunted growth, or of feeling like the next swirl isn't here yet, or I don't know where to go, or I don't know how to make it go forward, keep growing. Keep growing. Add another swirl. I am here to help you at any time, or talk it through with you at any time if I can help. I don't say that as somebody that's going to land something on you because I'm so learned and wonderful and I know something you don't. I'm saying that as someone just like you who has gone through the darkness and made it into the light. Let's find the light together. And so it is. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today. Please visit www.unityofsebring.org for more information, to submit a prayer request, or to donate to our ministry. We hope to see you again very soon.